We are pleased to welcome licensed psychotherapist Leslie Cutler for another edition of Mindful Moments. Welcome.
Oh, thank you, Julie. It's great.
Holiday season.
Holiday season,
And
yes.
'tis the season to be grateful.
It is, and wasn't it wonderful having a day that we could be grateful entirely? Thanksgiving was wonderful in that way. I'm sure a lot of us were feeling happy because we did take that time to be, thankful and gracious for what we have.
Right.
But today I really want to talk about the importance of trying to put that into not just the holiday season, but into your overall life and incorporating into your day-to-day.
Okay.
And it's very important, yes, gratitude and being grateful sounds like a good thing. I don't think anybody's going to argue that.
Right.
But, research has shown, and it's very interesting, that practicing gratitude on a regular basis improves not only your mental health, but your physical health, and it also creates better self-esteem and improves relationships overall. So this is truly something that can benefit us as well.
So everybody can practice gratitude.
Yes.
That's not something that's difficult to do.
Well, I think some
Or shouldn't
people
be.
have a harder time than others.
Right. It shouldn't be difficult to be
but,
grateful.
it's interesting to think about how you want to incorporate this into your life and really kind of giving it the space of what place is this going to have in my life? Maybe perhaps I wake up every morning and I think of something, I feel gratitude about, or maybe I share it with the person that I'm with and we sit down at dinner and talk about things and ways our lives, that we're grateful and thankful for what we have. So it's really about kind of thinking about the role that this is going to take in our lives.
Okay, overall.
Overall.
So you have a number of different points.
Right, so I think, like anything in life, it takes a certain amount of practice to incorporate this and to get used to this.
Yep.
And I also think it's one of those things that the more that you do it, the more it grows and it kind of develops arms and roots and that sort of thing.
It becomes part of you.
It becomes part of you.
Right.
So today we're going to talk about that in 5 basic ways.
Okay, and the first one is to shift our perspective.
Yes.
Okay.
I got to tell you.
Does that mean physically shifted or mentally shifted or both?
Well, I was thinking of this one in particular just yesterday. I was outside raking leaves, probably the 30th time.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
the leaves just keep
on
coming.
coming, yep.
You get inside, you're feeling good about your yard, and then, the wind
wind
blows,
comes along and woo!
thousands of them drop.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that, and I was really kind of getting frustrated. I'm like, how many days am I really going to spend? And then I said, whoa, stop for just a second. I have a beautiful piece of property.
Yeah.
I have these trees surrounding me.
Right.
I have so much to be grateful for. I have a house.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm talking about in terms of shifting your perspective. Really kind of taking something that might seem a little bit like a drag, a source of frustration, and saying, wait a second, there are blessings and there are things for me to be grateful in this.
See the beauty in the mundane.
See the beauty in the mundane.
Okay, so that was number one, shifting your perspective.
Yes. So number 2 is sow the seeds of gratitude every day. So again, it's, set your focus on not what you don't have, but what you do have. And being very, very careful to move away from materialistic things when we're thinking in terms of this. That is not what gratitude is about.
Right.
It's not like, hey, I have the better car than the neighbor.
Right.
But it's really about looking at key relationships in our lives, maybe growth and lessons that we've learned. These are the things for us to focus our gratitude about. And sometimes it's really hard, so even there's, I think, a certain morning ritual that we all have, and it's interesting to think about how we can incorporate gratitude into that. I have a client who really struggled with depression pretty significantly and had a very, very high-powered job for years and years. And she would take public transportation. She would get off the train, and every day she would start at the letter A, and she'd go through the entire alphabet, thinking of one thing beginning with each letter every day that she was grateful for.
Wow.
And that helped her tremendously in terms of shifting her mindset, starting her day in a more healthy, happy way.
Sure.
And became her morning ritual. So it's so important to find our own ritual and incorporate our lives into that.
And when you wake up, instead of dreading the day, you're grateful for the day.
Yes.
And that's another shift of perspective,
and that's
too.
another, absolutely. And the same with going to bed at night.
Right.
If you're thinking that you're entering slumber in a place of happiness and calm, which will then, of course, allow you to sleep deeper
better.
and sleep deeper,
Right.
So.
Right.
Yes, all these
Okay.
things are important.
Now, give thanks for difficult times.
Okay, this is the challenge. This is the place where it doesn't perhaps come so easy.
Right.
You know, especially within the face of loss and grief and, you know, major shifts in our life. And this is, you know, a place where we all struggle. But, you know, I think as long as we continue to practice that daily gratitude,
Yep.
it helps ease some of that in the moment. It might take the edge off a little bit
Right.
when things do look incredibly dark
Right.
and overwhelming.
Right. You know what? I always told my kids too, sometimes things seem so awful at the moment.
Yeah.
But I say, wait, a year from now, you'll
Yes.
look back and you'll say, that's why this happened.
Yes, and
There's
the
always-
pieces come together.
Yeah, and this whole silver lining that, you
Yeah.
know, it might be a cliche, but it's true.
It's so
Even,
true.
like you said, even the bad stuff it helps your perspective. It helps you be a better person.
It does. And even like you're saying, to kind of branch off from that, are thinking of those dark times after the fact.
Right.
And saying, you know, my life has changed significantly from then.
Yep.
There still might be things that don't quite make sense,
Right.
but look how much happier I am now.
Right.
So, you know, if the pieces aren't all together, that's okay.
Yeah.
But I'm in a better place and I'm feeling more positive, and, you know, I can
Yep.
reflect back on that with gratefulness.
Right. Okay, so 4?
Number 4 is to remember and to appreciate the smallest blessings. You know, and it's so true. We are better than 75% of the world's population if we have
Oh,
a roof over our
that's
head,
right.
food to eat, and a job to go to.
Just turn on the news every day. And you-
Honestly,
Yep.
you know, we don't live in Syria. We don't have to worry about our personal safety on a level like the individuals
Right.
that live there do. And, you know, again, it's just really kind of paying attention and celebrating these very, very basic blessings that we do have that sometimes we take for granted.
Right. And even finding blessings in things that at the time don't look like they're blessings.
Yes.
You know, like
Yes.
even like if you're in a line at the supermarket and, you know,
Yeah.
okay, I get 10 people in front of me, but then you chat with the person next to you.
Right.
Or you give a smile to somebody who
Yes.
needed it.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, that mundane event becomes something that you're grateful for.
Right, and also maybe the other person that you smiled at truly needs
Needed it,
that,
right.
needs to feel that connection, to
Right.
feel like they're seen and feel like they're acknowledged,
That's
and
right.
that could have a profound influence.
That's right. Now, your 5th one is to build a bank of gratitude.
And you know, I think we all have different ways of doing this, and it really is about finding what's going to work for you. I have a box that I keep, and in it I keep special letters. I, you know, maybe some things that I've written, some pictures, and it really is kind of a place where I keep a reminder of the things that I'm most grateful for. I've seen this done in a lot of ways, and especially with children, it can be good. If you have a large bowl, and each day they write something down and can put it in.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And then, you know, maybe when things seem a little bit intense, it's a good time for them to go and pull something from the gratitude bowl and to reread it as a reminder.
Right.
I mean, there are many, many different ways. Or even just having a nice notebook or journal that you write in on a daily basis, and, you know, maybe write your thoughts and feelings, but then list 1 or 2 things that you're grateful for.
Right.
So that bank can take on many forms depending
That's
on.
a good idea, though, to write them down for the kids to do.
For the kids,
And that's-
yeah.
what a great habit to get into, too. And like you said, it's all habits.
It's
all
all
of this
habits.
behavioral
Right.
stuff
Right, stuff, yeah.
that you give to us and you talk to us about is all really habits that you just got to practice every day, and then
It
they
is.
become part of you.
They do become part of you, and they truly do help your perspective. You know, and it's interesting, Oprah Winfrey said this quote one time, and I'll never forget it. I've sort of carried it with me. It says, "Be thankful for what you have, and you'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never, ever have enough."
Yeah.
And I think that that's so true, and it's
Right.
something important to kind of bring with us.
Right. And in our last minute, what advice would you give to parents about children and the whole holiday season, where it's all about the presents and all about what
Yeah.
Santa's going to bring me in?
Right,
What,
right.
How do you put that in perspective for children?
And that's a tough one. I mean, every year I try to find ways of incorporating some level of gratitude into our Thanksgiving or our Christmas season. And, you know, it really depends. You know, one thing might be to, you know, adopt a child type of thing, to maybe do some anonymous acts of kindness.
Yes.
And we did that 2 years ago, where we had bought a number of little gift cards. And, you know, in the middle of the night, it was a bit of a, you know, a show where we dropped them off in people's mailboxes. You know,
that's
and
so
the kids were all excited because they felt like they were up past their bedtime, or
Sure.
or maybe even having them buy a present for
Yeah.
a child that's in this social service system, or,
Right.
or something along those
Yep.
lines. But some way bringing that awareness
Right.
back
And
onto the
remind your
home phone.
children that
Yes.
you have a lot to be grateful for.
Absolutely.
And we are so grateful for you.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you
you,
so
Julie.
much.
It's a joy to be here.
10 minutes goes so fast with you.
It goes so fast.
Thank you so much.
Thank
and we'll
you.
have Leslie back again.